You passed your driving test years ago, maybe decades ago. You have driven in rain and fog on motorways through rush hour traffic, and you have never caused a serious accident. You know the roads, you know the rules, and now the government is quietly changing the requirements for drivers over 60, and millions of people have absolutely no idea this is happening. Not because they are careless, not because they are bad drivers, but because this update has received almost no mainstream coverage, and the people who need to know about it most are the very last ones to find out. If you are over 60, or if someone you love is, keep watching. Because what you do not know right now could cost you your license, your independence, and your freedom to get behind the wheel. Welcome to UK Visa Diary, the channel where we break down the rules, regulations, and requirements that affect real people living real lives in the United Kingdom. Today, we are talking about something that goes far beyond visas and immigration. We are talking about your right to drive and the new DVLA requirement that every driver over 60 absolutely needs to understand before it is too late. So what is actually changing? The DVLA has updated its medical and licensing framework for older drivers, and the key point is this. From the age of 70, drivers in the UK have always been required to renew their license every 3 years and self-declare their medical fitness. But what most people do not realize is that the rules around what you must declare, what conditions you must report, and what the consequences of not reporting them are, have recently been tightened, and the changes are now beginning to affect drivers from the age of 60 onwards, particularly when it comes to medical conditions, eyesight standards, and the responsibilities placed on your own GP. Let us start with eyesight, because this is where most people get caught out. The legal standard for driving in the UK requires that you can read a number plate from 20 meters in good daylight, with glasses or contact lenses if you wear them. That has not changed. But what has changed is the DVLA's approach to conditions like glaucoma, macular degeneration, and cataracts, conditions that become significantly more common after the age of 60. If you have been diagnosed with any condition that affects your field of vision, you are now legally required to inform the DVLA, not your GP first, not your optician, the DVLA directly. Failure to do so can result in a fine of up to £1,000 and, more seriously, the invalidation of your car insurance. That means if you are involved in an accident and you have not declared a relevant condition, you could be driving uninsured without even knowing it. Now, let us talk about the medical declaration process itself, because this is where thousands of drivers are unknowingly putting themselves at risk. When you renew your license at 70 and every 3 years after that, you sign a self-declaration confirming you are medically fit to drive. Most people tick the boxes and move on, but the DVLA has made it clear that if a GP becomes aware that a patient is driving with a condition that poses a risk, they now have clearer guidance on when to report that to the DVLA directly, even without the patient's consent. This is not new in principle, but the guidance has been strengthened, and more GPs are acting on it than ever before. The result is that some drivers are finding their license reviewed or revoked without any prior warning simply because their doctor flagged a concern. The conditions that trigger a mandatory notification to the DVLA include epilepsy, certain heart conditions, sleep apnea, diabetes requiring insulin, and any condition affecting your cognitive function or reaction time. If you are over 60 and managing any of these conditions, even if you feel completely fine behind the wheel, you need to check the DVLA's current guidance immediately. The gov.uk website has a full list of medical conditions and the specific rules for each one. Do not rely on what you were told 5 years ago. The list gets updated, and what was acceptable before may no longer meet the current standard. There is also an important update around medication. Certain prescribed drugs affect your ability to drive safely, and driving while impaired by medication carries the same penalties as drink driving. If you are over 60 and taking regular medication, particularly for conditions like anxiety, depression, chronic pain, or sleep disorders, you need to have a direct conversation with your GP about whether that medication affects your driving legally. Many people are completely unaware that they could be committing an offense every time they get in the car, not because they feel impaired, but because the law defines impairment by the drug in your system, not just by how you feel. So what should you do right now? First, go to gov.uk and search for driving and medical conditions. Read the guidance relevant to your age and your health history. Second, book an appointment with your GP and specifically ask whether any of your current conditions or medications need to be declared to the DVLA. Third, if you are approaching 70 or have recently turned 70, make sure your license renewal is submitted on time. Driving on an expired license is an offense, even if you are medically fit. And fourth, consider booking a voluntary driving assessment. These are available through organizations like ROSPA and IAM RoadSmart, and they give you an honest professional evaluation of your current driving ability. They are not a test you can fail in the traditional sense. They are a tool to help you drive safely and confidently for as long as possible. Your independence matters. Your ability to get to appointments, to visit family, to live your life on your own terms, that matters. And the best way to protect it is to stay informed, stay compliant, and stay one step ahead of the rules. That is exactly what UK Visa Diary is here for. If this video helped you, please subscribe and share it with someone over 60 who needs to see this. In upcoming videos, we will be covering DVLA medical forms explained step by step, what to do if your license is revoked, and how the rules for driving in Europe have changed for UK license holders. You have earned your place on the road. Let us make sure you keep it.